Secretariat for coordinating the peace process. Welcome. Thanks very much indeed for your time. Well, is there a peace process? Are you, in a sense, now redundant?
No, I think we're very important at the moment, because the whole point of a peace process has got to be a political solution. And I think we found that the Tigers were not responding politically. But fortunately, particularly over the last 6 months, we've had a number of minority groups, Tamil groups, willing to come into politics and take a democratic path.
But to an outsider, there seem to be ominous signs that the government and the Tigers now seem really determined to fight it to the death.
Well, I think the Tigers have always determined to fight it to the death if they couldn't get a separate state. I think the heartening fact is that many Tamils are coming over and are recognizing that the way to achieve the political goals of Tamils is through politics, not through a military solution.
What about the government? Is it coming over, as you put it?
Well, I think the government, in a sense, was liberated after the abrogation of the ceasefire, particularly because of the importance of Western ideas. The view has sprung up that the Tigers are the only representatives of the Tamils. As you know, the Tigers have killed a lot of moderate Tamils. But I think one very important fact, the moderate Tamils will not be betrayed again. If they're willing to come into politics, they will be given every chance, and I hope empowerment.
There have been obvious problems with trying to solve this problem militarily, haven't there? The Tigers tend to hide in civilian areas. Then when the government attacks or bombs those areas, civilians get killed. More disaffected civilians join the Tigers.
Well, I think there's a myth that spread. I mean, I actually studied the number of airstrikes in the last 18 months since the Tigers came back. 170 airstrikes. There have actually been allegations of civilians being killed. Allegations, mind you, in only 6 instances. I think that's a pretty good record for any force, as you will know from what happens elsewhere where there are struggles against terror.
I mean, you're in a very good position to know, but you sound, if I may say so, more optimistic than almost anyone else. Why?
Well, I'm a natural optimist. Perhaps that's why I've got
been given this job. But that's not quite good enough in this situation.
No, it's simply because we've heard so much when the election started in the East a month ago. I mean, the EU actually called our ambassador in and said, don't have elections, there'll be problems. And some of the election monitoring, the anti-government NGOs actually came up with a wonderful line. They said, we don't see weapons in the street except in the hands of the soldiers, but we know they're there. And in fact, the final outcome of the election was a peaceful election. It wasn't perfect, we know that, but it actually showed that the people want peace. And I think the provincial election so far has been wonderful.
What do you make of the news just coming into us, in fact, in the past couple of hours, that the Crown Prosecution Service in Britain has said there's not enough evidence to bring charges against Colonel Karuna? Of course, we saw in that report. Now, it seems likely he will be deported back to Sri Lanka now, doesn't it?
Well, I think it always occurred to us that he would not be prosecuted, not because the British aren't trying to do what they can, but the people who wanted him prosecuted to make a political point suddenly realized that if he had committed any crimes, it was when he was part of the LTTE.
Well, would you expect him now to end up as Chief Minister of the East, as was reported?
Well, I think one of the reasons he came to Britain is that perhaps he felt that he wasn't ideal for a political role. I mean, the poor chap had been brutalized as being part of the LTTE. He did come over. He has allowed the party to move into politics. I think you should keep him here and look after him. And if you did the same for Prabhakaran, we'd be in a much better position.
Not my decision, unfortunately, but Professor, thank you very much.
Pleasure.